always depends on her, the devotees of Bhagwan should and do take resort in Bhagwan. And it also says to take resort in Bhagwan by all means necessary, and to take resort in Bhagwan through mind, speech, and body. And if you do this, you will become a blessed soul.
In the last topic, we understood that why it is necessary to take resort in Bhagwan from the story of Prahlad, that as he was committed towards Bhagwan and he accepted Bhagwan as his only resort, Bhagwan always protected him and never let him face any problem in his life. So now it is these topics are explained to us, that how we must take resort in Bhagwan. So here we are given the example of a child and a mother, that whenever a child faces any problem, he runs to his mother, and he is confident that his parents will never let him have any problem. So same must be a feeling of a bhakt towards Bhagavan, that if we have taken resort in Bhagavan, it is equally necessary to take resort to Bhagavan by all the means. Means by mind, body and speech. Means if I am just reciting the name of Bhagavan, but I am not accepting the concept of taking resort in Bhagavan. Means mentally I am not accepting it. I am just orally speaking out that Bhagavan is my resort, Bhagavan is my resort. So then it is useless. Same way, if we are showing off with our body or our physical actions that I am committed towards Bhagavan and I am dedicated towards Bhagavan, but this is not the feeling which is in our mind, even then it is useless. So here it is explained that we must take resort in Bhagavan even mentally, even with our vocally also, and same with our physical actions, with our body also. Now we will understand the detail of each and every concept. Continue.
Resort through mind. Bhagwan is extremely gracious. He protects the being that comes to his refuge. Bhagwan is more powerful than all others. He is omnipotent. He is all-pervading. He is the creator of all and the bestower of all kinds of good and bad fruits. When one thinks of such attributes of Bhagwan and feels and meditates in mind that nobody else except Bhagwan is my true supporter and protector, this can be called the resort of Bhagwan through the mind. So this paragraph is explaining that the beings that come to Bhagwan's refuge, Bhagwan protects, and as everyone knows, Bhagwan is more powerful than anyone. He is omnipresent and omnipotent. People who truly believe that Bhagwan is their true protector has the resort of Bhagwan through their mind.
So the first one is resort through mind. Means mentally when we accept that Bhagavan is my only protector, Bhagavan is my only savior, and I am dedicated towards Bhagavan, then this feeling is known as resort through mind. As we see in the story of Prahlad, that even after the tortures given by his father, he never felt that Bhagavan will not protect me. Not even for a second he had a thought that I must accept whatever my father is saying and must not go on reciting the name of Bhagavan or must not worship Bhagavan as my father is not liking it. So these are not the thoughts in the mind of Prahlad, and he never felt so. So this was a strong commitment towards Bhagavan, and this is known as resort through mind. Means mentally we are very staunch on that point that Bhagavan will protect me, Bhagavan is my savior, and not even for a single moment we doubt that concept. This is known as resort through mind.
Should I continue?
Yes.
Resort through speech. To recite constantly the Ashtakshara mantra, the formula of 8 letters that holds the purport, Shri Krishna is my only resort and protector, is called the resort of Bhagavan through speech. So this paragraph is saying that if you constantly recite the Ashtakshara mantra, also known as Shri Krishna Sharanamama, you will reach resort through speech.
We must just go on chanting and reciting that Krishna is my savior. This is important because even if we are not mentally strong on the initial stage, by continuous practice and continuous reciting, we start developing that feeling in our heart. So it is necessary that we remember Bhagavan and we chant this mantra all the time. Mahaprabhuji has given us this mantra, and therefore if we just go on reciting it, even if mentally we are not strong about that, we will gradually develop that type of feeling.
Resort through body. When one makes the use of all the senses in the worship of Bhagavan, together with the resort through mind and speech, one is said to have resorted in Bhagavan through one's body. In Sri Bhagavad, there is a statement of Yam showing the significance of this triple resort in Bhagavan. Bring to me those wicked people whose tongue does not utter the name of Bhagavan, whose mind does not remember Bhagavan, whose head does not bow down to Shri Krishna, and who do not worship Shri Krishna. Because I rule not over the devotees of Bhagavan, but over the people who are attached to worldly life and who are deviated from Bhagavan. Those who are graced by Bhagavan obtain the excellent fruit by going to refuge in Bhagavan naturally without any inspiration, temptation, or fear. If the people in whom such natural liking is not born go to the refuge in Bhagavan with resolute mind, they too will surely be benefited. So this fifth paragraph is saying that if you use all five senses in worshipping Bhagavan, and you also have resort in Bhagavan in mind and speech, you should have resort in body. When you have resort or refuge in Bhagavan in mind, body, and speech, you will be fully graced by Bhagavan and will get excellent fruit by seeking refuge in Bhagavan without inspiration, temptation, or fear.
So the last concept is resort through body. Means we must have such physical actions in which we feel that we are committed to Bhagavan, and same way we must not engage in any such activity in which we are leaving the resort of Bhagavan. So in Bhagavad, Yamaraj says that those wicked people whose tongues do not utter the name of Bhagavan, whose mind does not remember Bhagavan, and whose heart does not go towards Bhagavan, they are the wicked people, they are not the good people. Because Yamaraj is the god of death. He is the deity who controls the death and takes the people towards the ways of Swarga and Nark. Means if anyone has done some good deeds in life, then Yamaraj sends him towards the Swarga, and the soul who has engaged whole life in the bad deeds, he is directed towards the hell. So Yamaraj says that all those people who do not accept Bhagavan as their resort, who do not accept Bhagavan as their savior, all those are wicked people. So those who are graced by Bhagavan, they obtain the excellent fruit by going to refuge in Bhagavan and without any inspiration or temptation or fear. But the people whom Bhagavan does not like, means as he says in the Gita, that the souls which are made for attaining salvation are known as Daivi Jiv. And those souls whom Bhagavan doesn't want to provide the result of salvation, they are known as Asuri Jiv. So Bhagavan have not graced them, and therefore they do not take resort in Bhagavan. So Yamaraj accepts all those persons to be wicked people, and whoever are the devotees of Bhagavan, they are considered as good people.
Means of strengthening resort. 1. The knowledge of Bhagavan's greatness. 2. The knowledge of...
Any question regarding the topic we have learned till now?
No questions.
Okay, continue.
Okay, sorry about that. Means of strengthening resort. 1. The knowledge of Bhagwan's greatness. 2. The knowledge of the being. 3. The abandonment of resort and other gods. 4. Nishadanta. The devout sentiment of men's leanings.
It is pronounced as Nisadanta.
Nisadanta. The devout sentiment of men's leanness. 5. Dinat. Humility. 6. Vivek. Indiscrimination.
The fifth one is Deenata.
Deenata. Humility. 6. Vivek. Indiscrimination. 7. Thaira. Patience. Are some of the means of strengthening resort in Bhagwan. So this just clearly shows us different ways of strengthening resort in Bhagwan.
Read one by one, the details are given.
Okay. 1. The knowledge of Bhagwan's greatness. As long as devotees don't have proper knowledge of the divinity of Bhagwan and his sports, his mind cannot turn towards Bhagwan. Therefore, those who wish to promote firm resort should obtain proper knowledge of Bhagwan's magnanimity and should constantly meditate upon it. So this is telling us that if you have proper knowledge of the divinity of Bhagwan, your mind will be able to turn towards Bhagwan. But if you don't have the proper knowledge, then your mind will not be able to turn towards Bhagwan.
The knowledge of Bhagwan's greatness means, first of all, we need to know the greatness of Bhagwan. Means if Mahaprabhu ji is saying us that accept the resort in Krishna, but we are not aware about the form of Krishna, we are not aware about the personality of Krishna, how can we accept him as our savior or resort? So the first step is that we must understand the form of Bhagwan, which is explained in Gita, Bhagavad, etc. From that material, from that Shastra, we need to understand that how great Bhagwan is, how great Krishna is, how great his personality is, and only after that we can understand the form of Bhagwan. Only after that we can feel that yes, Bhagwan is great, Bhagwan is the superior one, and therefore I must accept him as my savior. This feeling cannot be created or generated in our heart without accepting Krishna or without understanding the form of Krishna. So the first step is that we must understand the form of Krishna. As we find in the story of Prahlad, that when he was in the womb of his mother, she was staying with Naradji in his ashram, and there Kayadhu, his mother, used to hear Naradji daily, and staying in the womb of his mother, Prahladji listened to each and everything which Naradji said, and therefore during just at the small age, he remembered all those things and accepted Bhagwan as his savior. So the first step is always understanding the form of Bhagwan. First of all, we must know that who Krishna is and why Mahaprabhu ji is compelling us to accept Krishna as our savior. Why it is that important? We can understand this concept only after knowing the form of Bhagwan, which is explained in Gita, Bhagavad, etc. So continuous reading of all such texts, continuous going through all these facts is necessary. Only after that we develop the feeling of accepting Krishna as our savior or being committed towards him.
Should I continue?
Yes.
2. The knowledge of the being. Every being is a particle of Bhagwan and thereby his servant. In comparison with Bhagwan, a being is quite insignificant and incapable. Bhagwan has created for himself the whole animate and inanimate universe for his sports. Hence, it is the primary duty of every being to go to the refuge of Bhagwan, the creator of the universe and the supreme self. This kind of knowledge of a being enables a devotee to decide his true duty. So this 8th paragraph just shows us that it's the main duty of every being to take refuge in Bhagwan, since he is the supreme self and he is the creator of the universe.
In the first paragraph, we understood that it is necessary to understand the form of Bhagavan, and the second step is that we must understand our own self first of all. Means who we are, how are we connected to Bhagavan, how and why Bhagavan created us, and what is our duty. All these things must be understood first of all. Only after that, after understanding the relation between us and Bhagavan, we can understand that yes, it is necessary to take resort in Bhagavan. So we are particle. Bhagavan has created us for his sports. Bhagavan is like our parents, and Bhagavan has created from himself the whole world, the whole universe only for his play. There is no other reason behind creating this universe, and hence it is the primary duty of every being to go to the refuge of Bhagavan, because he has created us. As we don't have choice other than accepting our parents as our saviors, it is as it is compulsory to be committed towards our parents. Same way, it is most necessary to consider Bhagavan Shri Krishna as our refuge. So this we can understand this only after we understand our own form. So the first step is to understand the form of Bhagavan, and the second step is to understand the form of our own self, that who we are and how are we related to Bhagavan. Even if we are unaware about it, still the second thing is that we must understand our relation with Bhagavan.
3. Abandonment of resort and other gods. The detailed description of this topic will be given in the next chapter. Should I just continue since this doesn't have a detailed description?
Yes.
4.
Just one minute.
Okay.
See, in the next topic of Anyashratyag, we will understand this in detail. But basically what here it means is that when we know that Bhagavan is the greatest one and he has created the whole universe and nothing is permanent other than Bhagavan and nothing is superior than Bhagavan, then we must not be interested in serving or accepting other gods and goddesses. So we must abandon the resort towards Shiva and Durga and Ganpati, etc., all these gods and goddesses, because after all, as we are created by Bhagavan, same way they are also created by Bhagavan. Just the thing is that we are created in this universe and Bhagavan has created them to regulate us. So that's the only difference between us and them, but no one is superior other than Bhagavan, and therefore if we are committed towards the superior most Bhagavan, then why must we accept all others, or why must we be committed towards them? That's the main thing here. We will understand it in detail in the next topic. Continue.
4. Sentiment of mentalist. Scriptures show various means to approach Bhagavan, but in spite of adopting those means, nothing can be attained without Bhagavan's grace and wish. Only that being before whom Bhagavan wishes to manifest himself can behold Bhagavan or can obtain Bhagavan. Therefore, one should not entertain such a sentiment that whatever so means, like worship, remembrance, singing, etc., he is adopting. He is doing all on his own. In the beginning, it may seem to a devotee that everything is done by him, but it is Bhagavan who gets all that done through him. So this chapter is saying that nothing can be attained without Bhagavan's grace or wish, and it is Bhagavan who will reach out to the devotee to help them seek refuge, and not vice versa.
See, the main concept here is that when we are doing seva of Bhagavan, or when we are reciting his name all the time, we expect that yes, I am doing this much, and these duties are fulfilled by me, and these are the means which are explained in Bhagavat by which we can achieve Bhagavan. So we feel that I am doing this and I have attained Bhagavan as a result of these activities. So we must always feel in our heart that we are doing nothing, whatever is happening, or even if we are graced by Mahaprabhuji, even if we are graced by Bhagavan, then it is happening because Bhagavan wants me to achieve him. This is possible with our means. in the story of Ravan and etc. that they used to perform tapasya for many years and they attained the boon by making Brahmaji happy on him. But Brahmaji was forced to appear in front of him if he had performed the duty completely. And even after appearing in front of Ravan, it was necessary for him to provide him the boon, even after knowing that he is a wicked person. So all the other gods and goddesses are compelled to appear or compelled to give the result if the person is completing all the necessary requirements which are necessary for obtaining that devata. But this is not what happens with Bhagavan, because he is independent. He is not bound with any of the means, and therefore any of the devotees who feels that I have performed the seva for 40 years, I have recited the name of Bhagavan for 1,000 times or 10,000 times, then Bhagavan must appear in front of me, or Bhagavan must provide me this result, etc., etc. So these are not the things which we must feel in our heart, because Bhagavan is not bound by any of the method. If we are serving him with love, if we are reciting the name of Bhagavan with love, if we are accepting Bhagavan as our savior, then Bhagavan will appear in front of him, or Bhagavan will provide us the result whenever he wants to do so. But we cannot expect from Bhagavan that if I have completed these particular duties, then Bhagavan must appear in front of me. This is not the expectation which can be fulfilled when we are devotees of Krishna. All the other gods are bound, but Bhagavan is not bound. That's the main concept. So we must always feel in our heart that whenever Bhagavan wants, he will appear in front of me, and even if I am able to perform seva of Bhagavan, even if I have accepted Krishna as my resort, then this is not happening because of my understanding or my means, but this is happening because Bhagavan would have accepted me as his devotee. So we must always consider it as the grace of Bhagavan and not as our methods or our means for attaining Bhagavan.
Should I continue?
Yes.
5. Yeah. Humility. Just as the employees behave politely and respectfully with their masters, the devotee should behave with humility and respect with Bhagavan. Through the knowledge of Bhagavan as well as of oneself, the devotee obtains dinata. But only this will not be enough to promote humility.
Dinata.
But only
the word deen means who doesn't have anything and who is without any means. Means when we see a poor person, we feel that how poor he is. He has nothing with him. So he is deen. Means he wants care from someone else. He is not capable in his own self. This is mean as deen, and the feeling of being a deen is known as deenata.
Okay. I'll just restart. Through the knowledge of Bhagavan as well as of oneself, the devotee obtains dinata. But only this will not be enough to promote humility. It is also necessary for a devotee to abandon certain vices and wicked tendencies such as pride, jealousy, doubtfulness, obstinacy, impatience, intolerance, temptation, etc. of mind that are hostile to the sentiment of humility. In practical life, too, it is seen that due to the above-mentioned distorted sentiments, people do not remain in position to evaluate objects, situations, opposite individuals, or even themselves in a proper way. How can a devotee properly obtain the knowledge of Bhagavan or that of oneself as long as such distortions have taken root in his mind? Subsequently, how can he attain humility without it? So this paragraph is explaining that to promote humility, devotees must abandon bad tendencies like jealousy, intolerance, doubtfulness, temptation, pride, etc.
So when we understand the form of Bhagavan, when we understand our own self, after that we must be grateful to Bhagavan that he has accepted us as his devotee. So we must feel that Bhagavan has graced me and has accepted me. So because of that feeling, we must have respectfulness in our heart, and we must have politeness in us, that Bhagavan is the superior one, and without having any type of such capability in myself, Bhagavan has accepted me. So this must be the feeling of politeness in our heart. And when we accept Bhagavan as our master, when we accept ourselves as a refuge, then we must leave all such tendencies of having pride, of jealousy, of doubtfulness. Means if we are egoistic, it means that you yourself are capable. You don't need anyone else. So these are some wicked tendencies which show the wrong sentiments towards Bhagavan. It breaks our politeness towards Bhagavan. So we must leave all these things, and practical life also. We must be polite towards Bhagavan, and we must always try to learn things from other devotees, or we must all the time we must feel that whatever we are doing, we are able to do that just because of the grace of Bhagavan. So this type of humility we must obtain in our heart. And how can a devotee properly obtain the knowledge of Bhagavan or that of oneself, as long as we don't have such distortions in our mind? Means as long as we are not leaving these wicked feelings, we are not leaving such wicked thoughts, only after that we can attain Bhagavan. Otherwise, with pride, with ego, or with doubtfulness towards Bhagavan, with impatience, intolerance, these are some feelings which make us away from Bhagavan. So we must leave these things. I hope this must be clear. If anyone has any question or doubt regarding the topic we have learned today, we will discuss it tomorrow. Otherwise, we will go ahead and complete this chapter. We are concluding.